first of all, I had some pretty bad mood swings this week, and I don't know the exact cause or if it was like necessarily directly related, but I do know that your dopamine levels not being quite normal can definitely impact the way that you act around others and the way that your moods shift. And I definitely feel like my mood was just kind of not in any way like normalized this week. For example, I don't really know why, but little things would just like really frustrate me more than they even usually would. And then like sometimes when I was feeling great, I was feeling like really great. So it just was very, drastic changes with that. But luckily the past day or two, it seems to have started to stabilize, and I don't notice my mood shifting quite as much. I definitely do still find myself feeling a little frustrated by things, but it's much shorter lasting, and it feels like it doesn't get to me quite as much as it did like a few days ago for some reason. I also started implementing cold showers a little bit the past couple days. Took a cold shower yesterday for the first time in quite a long time, actually. And I definitely noticed that I felt different afterwards. Like, it almost just felt as if, nothing could be quite that bad after that. Like, the shock of it kind of in my body just made everything else seem insignificant compared to that a little bit. And yeah, obviously like actually taking the cold shower was not pleasant, and it honestly felt kind of horrible at first, but once you kind of like get through the shower though, you feel a lot better afterwards. It's kind of interesting because it's like you endure something incredibly unpleasant in order to obtain like these I guess what you could call like mental health and I guess some people say physical health benefits. I haven't really seen that for myself yet, but I definitely experienced some mental benefits even just from doing it a couple times. And that could also be like a factor as to maybe why my mood is stabilized a bit more. But I think it definitely, I don't know, it feels like something more chemical in my brain, honestly. Like the chemicals in my brain are more like regulated now or something. But yeah, so I'm only 10 days in right now, and it's kind of crazy that I've already seen this many changes just in that amount of time. And I'm sure that there will continue to be more changes as time passes, but and I'm sure there will also continue to be difficulties, but I think the difference isn't really the amount of struggles I'm facing, because I'm facing really the same amount of struggles that I was facing even 10 days ago. But I think the difference is now I'm just able to like mentally handle it a bit better. Like, I know all these stressful things are happening and more are coming, but I feel almost as if I can more effectively deal with them because my brain is like it doesn't have all this extra stuff like mudding it up all the time. But yeah, I mean, having a really clear head is honestly a super powerful tool. Like, I think it's an underestimated tool because, I mean, it's not even a tool, it's just something that naturally we should have, but most people just don't because we're so kind of numbed by all of the stimuli that's, first of all, put in in front of us all the time, but also just that we bring on ourselves. But I have in general just been on screens like a little bit less the past week as well, just because I'm still kind of in the process of moving, and we didn't even really have like a TV set up until yesterday, so I haven't really been watching any TV or anything like that really. Exercise has been a little bit better. I've exercised like a couple times in the last like 5 days or so, which still isn't really like quite as much as I'd like to be, but I've made some improvements in that department as well. And I think like once I get a bit more settled in, it's only going to get better with that too. But one thing I've just been really trying to focus on recently is using my time a little more efficiently. So, not just like, even if I only have like 20 or 30 minutes to do something, like I try to take that 20 and 30 minutes and get the maximum amount of stuff done that I can in that amount of time and as efficiently as possible. And I guess I've always tried to do that, but I think like when my head was a bit more foggy, it was a little more difficult sometimes, because it was like there was this blockage in my brain that was making it hard for me to focus on the task at hand fully. Trying to think if there's anything else. Social interactions actually kind of got like a little bit worse this week, briefly, when I was kind of going through my mood swing things, episodes, I guess you could call them. Yeah, I don't know why exactly that is, but I just, when I started having social interactions, at first, like, I feel like because I was a little bit on edge because of my mood swings, it was like maybe causing other people to notice that I was feeling on edge, or honestly, I feel like it may have partially just been all in my head, but it's weird how that stuff happens though when you're kind of like detoxing from something. Like sometimes your brain like tries to make a lot more out of something than actually exists, and that's another thing I guess I've been trying to keep in mind, is that sometimes those small little interactions or issues that you have throughout your day, they're not really that big of a deal in the big picture of things, and I think oftentimes we forget that, because sometimes when someone is impolite to you, or whatever might happen in your day, somebody might cut you off on the highway, you can do a lot of different things in that situation. You can either, one, choose to freak out about it, and I know sometimes some people say, oh, it's not a choice, like it just makes me mad, but I promise you that part of it is kind of a choice, because when that happens to me, I do feel that anger, and before, a couple weeks ago, if that were to happen, I probably would have freaked out a lot more, but because I feel a little bit more stability now, and I feel like I've sharpened my mind a little bit, I still sense that anger, and it still comes into my mind, but I feel like I'm a lot better at like taking that moment and realizing, hey, this is just a really short blip in this day, and while that might have been annoying, I'm not going to let it cut into my inner shell. Like, it might be scratching on the outside of my shell, and I could choose to like let it in, but rather than letting it in, I just acknowledge that it's there and I move on. And that's something that I think is a lot a lot more powerful than people realize. Like the ability to take something really frustrating or a bad situation, and instead of like making your whole day, or well, it could just be a couple hours that you're freaking out about it, but you know, sometimes when I would get annoyed, it would be like something I would keep bringing up to people for the rest of the day, and I'd be like telling my workmates about it, I'd be telling, you know, my girlfriend about it, and keep basically just rehashing this bad thing that happened, when in reality that thing was something that happened in less than 60 seconds of the day. And it's like, if you really think about that, like that is really kind of pointless, that you're taking something bad and reliving it over and over again. It's just making the rest of your day suffer, when it really could have just been something you experienced that 1 minute of your life and then moved on from. So, yeah. But anyway, yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to note, but still like a little bit of like anxiety occasionally, but for the most part, at least like as of today, it seems to be a lot less than it was a few days ago. And another thing too is like I have been trying to stay a little bit healthier, like since moving, and been eating a lot more vegetables and stuff. So I think that, you know, all that kind of stuff can definitely like play a pretty big role in how you're feeling as well. Okay.